let's get into the top 10 influencers canceled in 2021. And at number 10, David Dobrik. Of course, I had to start this list off with the most prominent cancellation going on right now. David Dobrik. David Dobrik and his vlog squad have been getting backlash for old pranks for months now, but David never decided to address it until an insider article was published that shared an account from a woman that said that a member of the group, Durte Dom, forced himself on her while David was filming a bit for the vlog. In the article, David is called out for facilitating a toxic environment that led to illegal and disgusting acts to be committed. A few former members of the vlog squad, Seth Francois and Big Nick, also came forward on the H3 podcast and exposed how they were both picked on while they were part of the squad and agreed to do uncomfortable things just for content. They also claimed that when they spoke up about it, they were cut from the group. Currently, tons of sponsors have dropped David, including Singh, who helped him give away free cars to most of his friends, as well as monetization has been stripped from his YouTube channel. And I don't think he's going to be coming back for a long time. And at number 9, James Charles. Honestly, this is looking like the year that James Charles could actually be cancelled. Back in 2019, in the midst of the bi-sister scandal, James went through the biggest cancellation YouTube had ever seen because of allegations from Tati Westbrook and Jeffree Star that James was using his influence to trick men, specifically straight men, into being with him. James was able to refute a lot of the claims and his career quickly came back. However, recently tons of have come forward to expose that they had sent and received lewd photos from James on Snapchat, with many even providing proof. A recent tweet from Keemstar states that currently 6 teenagers have come out against James so far, but honestly I wouldn't be surprised if that number was actually a lot higher based on how many people have been coming forward on TikTok very recently. James addressed one allegation months ago, but by and large it wasn't accepted by fans, and the backlash against him has only grown since then. And at number 8, Durte Dom. Durte Dom is not only cancelled, but there's a high chance that he could actually face jail time with what's been coming out about him. Multiple women have come forward with their stories of being harassed by Dom, with the focal point of the recent insider article exposing that Dom forced himself on a girl named Hannah while she was intoxicated. Dom's career was starting to fall off ever since he stopped appearing in the vlogs regularly, and with these more recent allegations, I'd be shocked if he ever comes back to YouTube at all. And at number 7, Amanda Ensing. Beauty influencer Amanda Ensing was cancelled after she became increasingly political on her social media accounts. Ensing is a pro-Trump Republican. The Sun reported that Ensing tweeted and retweeted more than 50 times the day of the Capitol riots in support of the rioters. Then apparently days later, she uploaded a video sponsored by Sephora. Sephora's social media accounts were then immediately flooded with backlash for working with Ensing, and she was later dropped by the brand because of that backlash. Sephora's social media channels were then flooded by comments by followers of Ensing, bashing the company for cutting ties with her just because she was conservative. Ensing responded to her split from Sephora by posting a video to her channel where she claimed to be unfairly singled out by the company for being Republican and Christian. However, her critics say that she was not dropped for being conservative, but rather for spreading controversial information. And at number 6, the Lopez Brothers. TikTok stars Anthony and Andreas Lopez have both been accused of with teenagers. The backlash started when multiple allegations came out against Tony Lopez, with most of the accusers providing screenshots that they told Tony their ages. Then months later, an accusation came out about Andreas. As well, a TikTok went viral that showed Andreas speaking with the mother of that teenage accuser, essentially proving that it did happen. In early January of this year, it was reported that a lawsuit had been filed against Tony for his actions. The brothers somehow still managed to get millions of views on TikTok, but most of the comments are all negative surrounding these situations. Halfway at number 5, Gabi Demartino. YouTuber Gabi Demartino was cancelled after it was exposed that she sold inappropriate photos of herself on OnlyFans, which was essentially selling illegal content to people that expected it to be explicit because it was being sold on OnlyFans. And because of a leaked DM conversation, we know that it was intended to be this way, with her saying in that conversation, quote, "Won't put my panties on." The backlash for this one was swift, and she ended up addressing it on her channel in a short video. After the scandal, she rebranded, but quickly changed back to her old fancy aesthetic, with people wondering if the rebrand was only to take people's attention off the scandal. And at number 4, Ava Louise. Ava Louise is an influencer that comes back into mainstream attention whenever she tries to expose other creators. She made headlines this year when she accused Kanye West of cheating on Kim Kardashian with a quote male beauty guru. Immediately after the video was posted, people assumed this person was Jeffree Star because they both live in Calabasas and have homes in Wyoming. However, it was later revealed that the person she was talking about was her good friend Cole Kerrigan. Now that the drama has subsided, many people who believed Ava during the midst of the scandal believe she was just lying for attention, especially since she later admitted to faking everything just for views. However, that could have just been to avoid a lawsuit. We may never know. And at number 3, Olivia Jade. Olivia Jade Januli has spent 2021 trying to recover from her involvement in the high-profile federal case Operation Operation Varsity Blues. She even went on Red Table Talk in December of 2020 to try and tell her side of the story, which was met with tons of backlash. And it seems that 2021 has not been much better. She recently got into a scandal after she made a TikTok speaking about how everybody's pain is valid, regardless of how privileged someone may be. With her saying in that video, quote, "It doesn't matter if I'm drowning in 60 feet of water and you're drowning in 30. We're both still drowning." But that was called out to be tone deaf, with many saying that she wasn't being publicly shamed because of her involvement in the scandal, however being held accountable for cheating when she was already so ahead in life. In at number 2, Jason Nash. Jason Nash is a part of the Vlog Squad and is David Dobrik's right-hand man. He appears in practically all of David's content, from vlogs to their shared podcast views. And that means that Jason has been a part of almost all of the controversial events that have taken place with David and the squad recently. The most controversial stunt that Jason has been a part of is the SA prank on Seth Francois. This prank is what really started the downfall of the entire crew. If you need a quick refresher, basically David told Seth that he was going to be making it with Corinna Koch, but Corinna needed to be in a face mask for some reason. Then after the makeout, it was revealed that the person that Seth was kissing wasn't actually Corinna, but rather Jason. Many have called him out for partaking in the disgusting stunt, and he's being cancelled right alongside David. However, he hasn't commented on the backlash at all yet. In at number 1, Lil Nas X. Okay, obviously Lil Nas X isn't an influencer, he's a musical artist. However, he's one of the biggest trolls on the entire internet and posts frequently on his Twitter and TikTok accounts. So I think we can all agree that he's a rapper that uses social media the most to boost his career. Lil Nas X got everyone talking when he released the music video for his new song, Montero, Call Me By Your Name, that had satanic themes in it. Many religious groups got up in arms over the messaging in the video, which got it even more exposure. And the backlash is most likely what caused it to be one of the most successful music videos in the history of YouTube. The controversy surrounding the song also caused his limited edition 666 Satan shoes, which each contain a drop of human blood and cost over $1,000 per pair, to sell out in minutes.
Starting us off at number 10, Bryce Hall. Although he's got a boxing match with Austin McBroom coming up, it seems Bryce got himself into a bit of legal trouble just a few weeks ago. After a video emerged of Bryce and a few of his pals getting into a fight at a restaurant back in October of 2020, he would claim his innocence, saying he tried to de-escalate the situation and defend his friends. Fast forward to April 2021, and he's getting sued for the fight, in which he was also accused of using racial slurs. As per reports, the store's manager asked them to stop vaping at the table, in which they refused, so they were cut off. When asked to leave, Hall wanted his credit card back, but was told he'd only get it once he left his table, which led to him blowing the vape in the restaurant's manager's face. This led to the manager ushering Bryce out, likely putting his hands on him, which led to the video of them all fighting. Oh boy. Much different from what Bryce said in October. He was also cancelled and made fun of it when he launched an energy drink and he had a few hundred kids gather outside of a supermarket to see him. Aside from the gathering, he was telling people to shotgun their drinks, which is gross considering you'd put your mouth on a can someone else likely just touched in the middle of a pandemic. So you know, that's no good. No, we don't like that. Number 9, Lily Singh. After 2 seasons of her show, A Little Late with Lily held down the 1:30 a.m. late night slot, it seems NBC decided to axe the program altogether. Unfortunately for Lily, it seems her success on YouTube couldn't necessarily translate to the late night platform. However, that doesn't mean she's leaving TV anytime soon. Taking to Instagram, Lily explained that although the show is coming to an end, it is leading to new endeavors with both Netflix and NBC Universal, in which she's going to be producing and starring in shows. It's been revealed she's going to be starring in a Netflix comedy series produced by Kenya Barris, who is most well known for the hit sitcom Blackish. Now in the number 8, Mr. Beast. It seems the cancellation of Mr. Beast actually came and went after it didn't get all that much attention. In fact, it seems a bit of an argument between Philip DeFranco and Taylor Lorenz, who wrote the article, which could have led to Beast's cancellation, stole the show. In a nutshell, a New York Times journalist wrote an article about Mr. Beast's rise to fame and fortune, but also included his past, including old tweets. She also interviewed a handful of former employees and business associates, 11 in total, who spoke of negative experiences while working with Mr. Beast and his company. Although only 2 of the 11 interviewed were identified and quoted directly, it seems what the focus became was Philip DeFranco's video calling Taylor's article a hit piece. This led to a back and forth between Philly D and Taylor on Twitter, which got a little spicy but will later be deleted. In regards to Mr. Beast, well, he never spoke on it and it seems everyone moved on rather quickly. Interesting, isn't it? Number 7, EDP445. I can't even fully say what his handle stood for or what he did, but his YouTube channel has been terminated because of what's currently going on. Either way, EDP445, real name Bryant Moreland, was set up and caught attempting to meet someone he shouldn't be meeting. The 30-year-old, who became known for being a huge Eagles fan and just his outrageous commentary in general, was set up by another YouTuber, Alex Rosen, who ran the account Chet Goldstein. Rosen was pretending to be a 13-year-old named Sophie and had been interacting with Moreland on Instagram. At first, they were sending each other messages, and eventually Moreland tried to meet up with Sophie, who was really Alex. It's believed this has led to an investigation of sorts with the authorities, although it's tough to find much on it right now. Number 6, we got Rachel Hollis. The author and influencer who is most well known for Girl Stop Apologizing and Girl Wash Your Face was actually cancelled, and funny enough, apologized twice. Girl, stop apologizing. Sorry, it was just too easy. I just apologized. Now, on a more serious note, the reason she was cancelled was just, it was a big old yikes. So it seems in a nutshell, Hollis received a ton of backlash after posting a TikTok in response to a comment she received after mentioning how someone comes to her house to clean her toilets twice a week. Someone said that was unrelatable, in which Hollis went off claiming she doesn't strive to be relatable, and I quote, "Literally every woman that I look up to is unrelatable. If my life is relatable to most people, I'm doing it wrong." The intention was, I think, to be great, to be better than average, to be like a standout. So in the caption, she included, I quote, "Harriet Tubman, RBG, Marie Curie, Oprah Winfrey, Amelia Earhart, Frida Kahlo, Malala Yousafzai, and Wu Zetian, all unrelatable AF. Happy Women's History Month." So yeah, so you guys can see people had a huge issue with Hollis comparing her building her online brand, a lifestyle guru, to that of Harriet Tubman helping free slaves in the Underground Railroad. Of course, that on top of people calling her out, saying the woman cleaning her toilets works just as hard, if not harder, than she does. This led to Hollis making an apology, more or less blaming her team for the screw up, only to remove that apology and issue another on her own. Halfway at 5, Jay Mazini. Now this guy is in some serious trouble, and his Instagram account has been disabled ever since. In March, Mazini, real name Jabara Igbara, was accused of defrauding his followers out of nearly $2.5 million in Bitcoin. As per reports, Mazini would offer to buy Bitcoin from his followers at 3.5 to 5% above the market value, explaining that he was willing to pay more because Bitcoin was limiting how much he could buy from them. As far as I'm concerned, Bitcoin is just a currency, but clearly he fooled some followers, as there have been at least 4 who told authorities about the scam. Mazini would send videos and screenshots of transfers to the victims, claiming he sent the money, but as per court documents, the sellers never received money, I quote, "in amounts sufficient to pay for the Bitcoin Mazini had received." Just a month later, he'd be arrested in relation to an alleged kidnapping plot as well. At number 4, we got Leah Say. Originally from Russia, she was recently deported from Bali after painting on a surgical mask and pretending it was the real thing. So the story here is that while in Bali with US-based YouTuber Josh Paler-Lynn, the two decided to go into a local supermarket and see if anyone would notice her fake mask. With Lynn wearing a real blue surgical mask and Say having one painted on, it seems at first those at the door didn't immediately notice. However, in the store you could see either a few customers or employees ask as to whether or not Say has a face mask on. When the video went viral, it would soon catch the attention of local authorities, who would track both Lynn and Say down, only to have them deported from the country for breaking COVID-19 rules. A local member of government explained, I quote, "Foreigners who don't respect the laws and regulations in Indonesia are facing deportation sanctions." On to number 3, Jake Paul. Time and time again, this guy is always finding ways to get cancelled, and it seems this time around people were upset with how he handled himself at the Mayweather-Paul press conference. Long story short, which you could watch on our channel shortly after this one, by the way, Jake had to steal the attention from Logan while he was promoting his fight with boxing legend Floyd Mayweather. After Logan and Floyd did their thing, Jake got into Floyd's face, said he wanted to fight him, and then stole Floyd's hat right off of his head. This is what stole the show and made headlines. As Floyd went after Jake, security got involved, and all in all, Jake's shirt got torn and he had a black eye. Some were mad that Jake was stealing Logan's spotlight, while others were angry that Jake was so inconsiderate to endanger everyone around him for clout. We're talking both sides' management teams, the publicists, stylists, managers, but even the people filming, the tech guys, the crew, even just the stadium staff, they were all, involved in this. I mean, when the scuffle broke out, people were running all over the place, and it was just a mess. Now, thankfully, it seems no one was seriously injured, but it seems this kid is really pushing his limits, and people are upset with him. Not really surprising, though. Number 2, we got Call Me Carson. Carson has gone ghost after being accused of grooming and messaging someone he shouldn't have been. Back in January, Carson was called out on Twitter for sending explicit messages to a 17-year-old while he was 19. Now 21, it seems he hasn't responded to the allegations and has gone completely ghost online. Screenshots showed the exchange between Carson and a Twitter user named Sam, who shared the images. Carson would ask for explicit photos, even though at one point he even said that it was wrong. The original tweet has since been deleted, and it's unclear if there is an investigation going on or what the deal really is. Carson at one point did resurface, DMing another streamer to notify about a video playing during his stream, which included Carson in said video. Other than that, no one's heard from the guy. In at number 1, Dixie D'Amelio. While being featured on Vogue's YouTube channel, Dixie did 24 hours with me, or in this case, 24 hours with Dixie. It was a vlog of sorts in which Dixie filmed what she typically does in a day, and that's all good, but it seems followers and fans had an issue when Dixie was asked about college. In response, Dixie explained, I quote, "I fully got into college in August of 2019, and I decided not to go just because traveling back and forth was going to be a lot. I was also really scared because I saw someone make a TikTok saying that they would play my songs at a frat party. That's really what turned me away from going to school because I don't think I could handle that level of embarrassment." The video has a ton of dislikes and nearly 3 million views, with most of the comments bashing Dixie with being so out of touch with reality, and a few highlighting how most don't go to college due to the financial strain, not out of being embarrassed someone will play their song at a party.
Starting off in our number 10 spot, we have Jeffree Star. Jeffree is probably the perfect example of a celebrity who has been cancelled but still continued to get more famous, as it has happened to him multiple times over the course of his career. Jeffree has been seen publicly apologizing for his behavior on many different occasions, and the reasons stem from racism to misogyny to just being a bully. After old photos and videos of him resurfaced where he was shown using derogatory language and slurs, people were seemingly jumping the Jeffree ship, but somehow every time people get up in arms about these past behaviors, he finds a way to bring it all back around and keep his brand running. He has famously feuded with many other makeup brands and celebrities, and whether it's by coming clean and apologizing, or hurling insults, or showing the accusers behind the scenes dirty behavior, he always finds a way to step out of the spotlight. In our number 9 spot today, we have James Charles. Could we talk about Jeffree Star without also talking about James Charles? James Charles was one of YouTube's youngest beauty gurus and made a lot of waves when he became the first male face of CoverGirl and made a stellar brand deal with Morphe. Things really took a turn for the star, however, in 2019 when his friend, fellow beauty guru Tati Westbrook, put him on blast for putting up a sponsored Instagram story for Sugar Bear Hair, which was of course in direct competition with Tati's company, Halo Beauty. After a short exchange through Insta stories, Tati decided to upload a now deleted 40-minute video of her explaining all the reasons why she was no longer friends with James, and while all of the drama between them was pretty trivial and not that interesting, she did accuse James of sexually coercing men, which is of course a huge deal, and things really blew up from there. This caused James to lose millions of followers, while Tati's follower count continued to grow substantially. Eventually, the whole thing more or less blew over, and about a year later in 2020, Tati came out with another video detailing how Jeffree Star and Shane Dawson basically convinced her to release the first video, and how they were mostly to blame, which really took the heat off of James, and he was able to recover his image. But only for a short while. As we now know, James has been the subject of a few more allegations of sexual coercion as well as grooming, and he has now been dropped by Morphe and his YouTube account has been demonetized. So it's unclear if he'll be able to bounce back this time around. In our number 8 spot today, we have Doja Cat. Doja Cat has been in the music scene for a while now, but she really blew up in these last few years, especially with a few of her tracks going viral on TikTok. Her first attempted cancellation came in 2018 when old tweets of hers resurfaced where she used a homophobic slur. She responded to the criticism by saying that she had only used that word about 15 times in her life and asked if saying the word meant you hated gay people. After people called out her non-apology, she posted the classic screenshot of your typed out apology on the Notes app. After this, people began calling her out for a song of hers that was allegedly being implicitly discriminatory of black people, and finally, she was exposed for some of her behavior when videos surfaced of her on some sketchy online chat rooms where she was conversing with alleged members of alt-right groups, and this led to the trending hashtag last year, #DojaCatIsOverParty. While all of this together is some pretty compelling evidence, it is very clear that she has only received more fame, especially considering her TikTok views and likes are currently astronomical. In our number 7 spot today, we have Kanye West. Kanye West has a long, controversial history in the public eye. He has been famed for changing the music game and is one of the most influential rappers we have ever seen, but it has not happened without a lot of struggle. I mean, firstly, in 2009, we had him interrupting Taylor Swift at the VMAs. This right there was a pretty messed up event, as Taylor was quite literally a child at the time, but while we all thought it was a bit of a wild move, his career didn't struggle one bit. 2016 saw the beginning of a lot of Kanye drama after his release of the album The Life of Pablo. In the song Famous on the album, he had that, well, famous line where he talked about Taylor Swift again. After Taylor came out saying she did not approve of the lyric, things escalated from there, with even Kim Kardashian getting involved. After this, during a show, he told the audience that he didn't vote, but if he did vote, he would have voted for Trump. We certainly can't cancel someone for their political views, but people did not like this. The feelings were only furthered when he also told the people in the crowd to stop focusing on racism. Shortly after this, since then we have seen a lot of drama surrounding Kanye, especially last year in 2020 when he attempted a presidential campaign and had some more polarizing political opinions which he yelled out at his rallies. It has become quite clear, especially in the last few years, that Kanye struggles with his mental health, especially when Kim Kardashian was able to speak out about it. So while some of his more offensive moments are inexcusable, I think we can all agree that him getting help and being healthy is the most important thing. In our number 6 spot today, we have Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart started out as a comedian, but he has since built an empire. He not only is a successful comic, but has starred in multiple Hollywood films, owns a production company, and so much more. In 2018, it was announced that Hart would be hosting the 2019 Oscars, which seemed like a great fit, but then tweets of his from 2009 to 2011 began to resurface, where he made some homophobic remarks. People began saying that since he had not apologized for the tweets, he shouldn't be able to host the Oscars. 2 days after this, Kevin responded with an Instagram story where he refused to apologize, explaining that he believed he had spoken on the issue multiple times, which only fanned the flames for those who were upset. This all led Kevin to step down from hosting the Oscars, which ended up going unhosted, and he also apologized. Shortly after this, he appeared on the Ellen DeGeneres show, where she asked him to reconsider his decision to step down, but Kevin held strong, and the following day he issued a final statement and apology on the whole situation. While there are still many out there who have not forgiven Kevin, his career truly hasn't taken a huge hit some people wanted to see, and he does remain successful and continues to produce content. In our number 5 spot today, we have Cardi B. Cardi B burst onto the rap scene a few years ago after years of hard work on her part. Before her life in the public eye, however, it is well known that she was an erotic dancer. A few years ago, it came to light that Cardi participated in some questionable behavior during this time of her life. It came to light that Cardi had a history of drugging the men who visited the clubs she worked at, where she would then take them to hotels and rob them. She was actually the one who admitted to the behavior as she was explaining her past before fame and how sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. Despite these claims, Cardi has certainly not taken a hit to her fame and fortune and clearly has been extremely successful despite what happened in her past. Part of this may be due to the fact that she is the one who brought up this behavior and the fact that none of the men ever spoke out about it, but we all know that sometimes people are just uncancelable for some reason. In our number 4 spot today, we have Trisha Paytas. Trisha Paytas is one of the most controversial YouTubers there has ever been. She's been a content creator since 2007 and has seemingly been cancelled hundreds of times, but she truly is more popular now than ever before. Honestly, being wild and controversial has basically become Trisha's brand. While there has been some pretty sketchy behavior from her, such as her defending Hitler, her doing blackface, her saying the N-word, her trivializing and degrading trans people, and honestly a whole multitude of other things. Honestly, I don't even know if it's possible to cancel Trisha because of the fact that she simply just doesn't care. Despite everyone's attempts to cancel her multiple times in the last decade and a half, she always finds a way to bounce back, and that is simply by just not acting like she's being canceled. In our number 3 spot today, we have PewDiePie. PewDiePie is one of the largest YouTubers there has ever been. He has created a huge following for himself over the years, but like we all well know, being in the spotlight is bound to bring some controversies. A few years ago, he came under fire after a terrible tweet where he joked about joining a terrorist group came to light, but shortly after this, he received a lot of criticism for a series of prank videos that were made which featured some harmful words. He basically paid a few shirtless men to hold a sign with some anti-Semitic remarks. This of course deserved the backlash it got, and it actually cost him to lose his YouTube Red series, which was supposed to be on its 2nd season at the time. It is clear, however, that this stunt did not cost him his career at all, as he had around 53 million subscribers at the time, and now he just hit the massive milestone of 110 million subscribers. So he clearly has only received more fame and continues his regular uploads. In our number 2 spot today, we have Shia Labeouf. Shia Labeouf got his start young on the Disney Channel show Even Stevens, where he played an extremely goofy and lovable character, but he came under a lot of controversy for some strange behavior he exhibited years later. After starring in the Transformers films, he found himself in some hot water when he released a short film that was allegedly mostly plagiarized from a comic by creator Dan Close. After this, Shia found himself in more legal trouble when he was arrested in 2014 and charged with disorderly conduct, harassment, and criminal trespass. After this, he sought out help for alcoholism, and while he pleaded guilty to the charges, they ended up being dropped. Then, in 2017, he was arrested again for public intoxication and disorderly conduct, and there was body cam footage released later that showed him making some pretty horrible remarks to the arresting officer. He ended up getting 1 year of probation for this. Since these incidents, Shia seemingly made a return with the release of his film Peanut Butter Falcon and Honey Boy, which both received quite positive reviews, but unfortunately in December of last year, Shia's former partner, FKA Twigs, spoke out about alleged abuse she endured during the relationship. While Shia has admitted to this kind of behavior and has apparently begun receiving treatment, it's unclear if he'll be able to return after this round of being cancelled. And the most important thing is that he is receiving treatment and that FKA Twigs has been able to speak her own truth. In our number 1 spot today, we have Chris Brown. I know this certainly is one of the darker ones on this list, and truthfully, it needs no explanation. On the evening of the 2009 Grammys, Chris Brown physically assaulted Rihanna, whom he was dating at the time, so badly that she required hospitalization. Of course, people were absolutely outraged, which is the correct response to something so horrific, but in an unbelievable turn of events, over a decade later, Chris somehow still has a thriving career. Just 3 years after this incident, he actually was invited back to the Grammys, where he won Best R&B Album of the Year, and had the producer of the show saying that Chris deserved a second chance. Since then, there have been other horrendous accounts of people being assaulted by the singer, such as Frank Ocean in 2013, where Chris allegedly punched him and then threatened to shoot him, or in 2014, where he pled guilty to assaulting a fan while also allegedly saying a homophobic slur, but during this time he released a song that was somehow debuting at number 2 on the Billboard charts. There's unfortunately so much more that I don't even have time to go into right now, and this all goes to show how Chris Brown could have and probably should have been cancelled years ago.